Hello, welcome back to Lumps of Life. My name is Jared Lumsden, and today I have a very special guest. I have the season 19 winner of America's Got Talent, the singing janitor, Mr. Richard Goodall. How are we?
I'm good. How are you?
We're doing great. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on and talk with me. So,
Absolutely.
we were kind of talking beforehand. I'm very interested to just kind of pick your brain on kind of your whole life experience up until this point. I kind of want to start off with like the early days of your life. And I think I read on there that you had talked about, I don't know if it was in an interview or but that like the music is kind of your safe place where like
hmm
once the music hits you can kind of just lock in. And when did that kind of become like a thing for you? When did you have that?
Well, early on, my mom I was adopted,
Okay.
and my mom she had had a heart attack, and so her bedroom was downstairs and mine was upstairs, and so I had the whole upstairs to myself. I was an only child, and I was that kid with just like you seen on the audition. I was that kid with the posters on the wall, Heart and Nancy Wilson and Journey and Foreigner and I was just that kid with the Radio Shack stereo, just like on the show. I mean, everything that was on the show was absolutely true. There were a few times when AGT was like, "Well, let's go this route," and I'm like, "No, you're not. You're not painting the pig. You want me as I am, or you don't want me at all."
Oh, good for
And
you.
there were, I mean, through each round, they were, let's try this, because before I had gotten on the show, I was married for 30 years, and she
Okay.
passed away from kidney cancer, and so I went through a round where, I was just grieving,
Hmm.
and then a Facebook post came up, and it was a fellow janitor. He runs a karaoke system here in town, and I was like, well, where's this bar at? Because I hadn't been out singing in, a long time.
Oh yeah.
COVID kind of shut everything down, and back then, before COVID, I was singing in a gospel group, just locally, nothing crazy. And we had some CDs out, and I still have them on my wall as nice little mementos. But
Yeah.
everything was done very grassroots, but fun. And so after she passed away, I went and done the karaoke thing, and somebody had filmed it, just like when I sang at the school. They got
Hmm.
me on the show, but um, so somebody filmed it, and my wife is friends with the owners of the bar where it was at, and she gets a hold of the brother of one of the owners, and she says, "Who's that guy?" And he's like, just some guy came in and started singing karaoke, and she's like, well, his name needs to be in lights. Well, I sent her a friend request on January 1st of 2022, and like a numbskull, she accepted, and the rest is history there. And so, yeah, at the end of the school year in 2022, one of the teachers come up and asked me, he said, hey, you want to sing this year? Because I always sang, God Bless the USA, something
Hmm.
like that. It was like the first you know thing that came about after COVID. People started gathering around again. So I was like, all right, so how about Don't Stop Believing, like a numbskull, not thinking. I mean, I can belt it out, but not thinking that I'm going to end up singing it, for the rest of my days either. So, so long story short, I mean, and here are some things that most people don't know. I have said this in interviews before, but so a talent producer from the show reaches out, and I do a series of Zoom calls, like I'm talking to you
Hmm.
now, and story calls. They want to know everything about you, or at
Yep.
least try to know everything about you. And so, I jumped through all the hoops that they said that they wanted me to do. And so, and then I got dropped. This was season 18. I got dropped from
Oh.
season 18. Yeah. So then at the end of season 18, a guy by the name of Howie Mandel posts me on his TikTok. His bald head and my portly body standing there singing Don't Stop Believin', and the caption across his forehead said needs to be on AGT. Well, then a senior producer reached out. His name is John Piermonti, and reached out and said, "Hey, you want to be on the show?" And I'm like, "Dude, don't do this to me again." You
Yeah, do I
know?
have to go through all this shit again?
Yeah, yeah. And thank you for for saying it
Yeah,
that way. Um,
gotcha.
but so I was like, "Dude, don't do this to me again," because then I had already took the talent producer's number off my phone. I didn't want to have like a night with wine and kind of cuss her
Yeah.
out or anything. So I just erased everything off. And then he
So
comes back on here and asking me this question. I'm like, dude, you don't understand. I got dropped from last season. He's like, what? He had no clue. I
oh,
was like,
that's so interesting.
I got dropped from last season. He's like, I cannot believe. And I told him, the series of things I had to do. So he knew I was telling the truth.
Yeah.
And so he was like, I can't believe we dropped the ball on this. So 2 months later, I have plane tickets on my phone.
That
And I was scared. Don't
oh, I
don't get me
bet.
wrong. Yeah, I was very scared. And my
So
wife, Ange, says, "Hey, put your big boy pants on and go," because I was scared. I mean,
oh,
and
absolutely.
I'm from Terre Haute, Indiana, and I'm flying from Indianapolis to Denver and Denver to LAX, which LAX is as big as Terre Haute, my hometown. So
Yeah. And how old were you at
huge.
this time? Because, like, I think you said you'd never even been on a
54.
plane
I
at
was
this point.
no, I hadn't. I had never been on a plane, never, ever, and never been west of Missouri. So you talk about a fish out of water. I mean, I
Yeah.
was literally a fish out of water. But
So
my
before we
go-
dive into that, I kind of want to backtrack real quick. Did that, like, not getting on to season 18, did that like have that moment where, like, obviously going through that process, you're like excited, you're getting your hopes up, you're like gearing up for this. So then that letdown of it not panning out, like, I know just on a little scale of things that I've
yeah,
gotten my hopes up for, like, I assume that, like,
yeah,
mentally did not help out. Like, I
and
assume
that
that was
and
kind of one of
that's
those, like, wow, shit, like, I just went through all this stuff and then it didn't even, so then yeah, then they're calling you back. It's like, okay, come on.
yeah, yeah. Don't I was like, that's what I told him. I was like, don't do this to me. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, dude, I'd already did everything you guys asked me to do. I got dropped. And he's like, are you kidding me? I'm like, no. And then I explained to him everything I did. He was like, yeah, I get it now. And then he started searching. He was like, yeah, all your videos here and everything. You've done
Yeah.
everything we asked you to do, and I don't know what happened.
Did it
And
take you a
so,
little bit to kind of like process that, like to kind of
well, of
mentally get
course,
yourself, yeah, like
of
to,
course, I was like, because I'm skeptic. I don't want to go through that again. I mean,
yeah,
it's kind of like ripping a band-aid off and saying, okay, I'm gonna throw a little alcohol on it, and then I'll put another band-aid on it. No,
yeah.
I, I
You kind
wasn't.
of get like that catfish moment where you get your
Yeah,
heart broken, where it's like you're in this moment of like, oh, this is something that I've
yeah,
dreamed about my whole life and it's finally happening. Then you're going through that process and it's like, nah, you're like, what happened to, like,
right.
what,
Yeah,
I did all this work, all these things, and you just decided to go a different direction. But I
yeah.
feel like based off of what I've seen and read, that's kind of how that industry operates, where it's just that, like,
Oh,
obviously
you're
they're vetting you for a story, they're vetting you for things they can put on TV and kind of draw that interest in, and then they found a new shiny toy and went, oh, okay, we'll go
yeah,
that way. So then yeah, going into the next year, even more so, that had to have been kind of that, like, oh, when's the other shoe gonna fall, like, when is it
r-
gonna drop on me?
right. Hang on, I got my
Oh, you're
headphones are
fine.
about ready to. Gonna switch microphones. Can you still hear me?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, hang on. It didn't switch off. Microphone. Hang on. Let me switch this
Yeah,
off here.
no worries at all.
Okay, now can you hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Okay. I just want to make sure because my headphones are about ready to die. He kept saying, "Charge me," and I was like, "Oh boy."
You're like,
so,
uh-oh, not great
so
timing.
yeah, I was skeptical at that point because I didn't want to go through that again. My mindset, after I get on the plane, I mean, you're already never been on a plane before. You're already nervous, and then you're flying to, you know, it's like
Y-
it's like I'm a guppy and I'm flying into the sharks. But my mindset is when I get on that plane is just I'm just going to go there. I'm going to sing the song. Hopefully, I'll have a nice little YouTube video and I can say, at bare minimum, because how many people can say that? At bare
yeah,
minimum, at least I took my shot,
yeah,
At least
absolutely.
at least I reached for it. So my mindset was at least I'm going to have a nice little YouTube video. I can save it somewhere and so I could tell somebody, well, I tried out for America's Got Talent and, at least
Yeah,
I gave my shot.
absolutely. At least you
Never
had the
in a
story.
never in a million years did I ever think that a German supermodel is going to rain gold dust on me, and and everybody's going to just think I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. No,
Yeah,
I never went into it with that mindset. I went in there with just like I'm just going to take my shot and I'm going to go home, with my tail between my legs and no big
yeah.
deal.
I
Never
think
ever.
that's kind of a key to life, I think, that just expect nothing, appreciate everything. If you can
Well,
go into pretty much any situation with that mindset, you protect your mentality and your peace because you're going at it going, hey, I'm already winning. Like, no matter what happens, this is more than I thought was going to happen.
oh
So,
yeah.
hey, we're already in a completely different world than we were. So I'm just going to enjoy the experience and see what happens.
Yeah, yeah. So I went into everything when it pertains to all this as just I'm going to just do my absolute best and have no expectations and just give it my best and whatever happens happens. God's in control.
Absolutely. So when you got there and you kind of got settled in and you were actually there, what was that like knowing you were getting ready to go out there in front of that and have that audition moment? Like mentally, where were you at that point?
It,
Like,
it, it's like it's very surreal.
yeah.
It's like um, even when I watch it back, all four rounds,
Mhm.
actually five if you count when I sang with the actual band Journey.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, that's
you
so
know,
awesome.
yeah, yeah. Try being me. I mean,
Yo, yeah.
so I mean, yeah. Just every round, I just went through it, and I mean, and the thing is when you're going through it, you really just don't. You don't understand, what you're real. I mean, you know what you're doing, but you really don't understand because you don't understand the ramifications. Like AGT, it's in the Pasadena Civic Auditorium. And some of the most, I mean, like Van Halen played. I mean, that's Pasadena is their hometown. So
Yeah.
Van Halen played there multiple times. There's a plaque on the wall on the outside wall about them. You remember the first time you seen Michael Jackson do the moonwalk at the
Oh,
at
okay.
the at the Motown? It was that stage.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
So, are you, like, consciously feeling that and having that in the moment, or is that one of those things that you're just
Well,
trying not to overthink it? Like, "Okay, I can't let the" like, almost like letting the moment get the better of you?
you don't really know all those things happen at that auditorium until you walk around the area and see, and you're like, that happened on this stage. Wow. I
That's so
mean,
cool.
so and yeah, I just you go through every round, and like I was about to tell you, that auditorium holds 2,500 people. But the problem is that's not how many people are seeing you
Uh-huh.
because you got all those cameras. So with those cameras, you're reaching millions,
Oh, yeah.
like millions. And honestly, to this day, when I go on and I'm working my social media a lot better than I used to,
Mhm.
whenever I go on Facebook Live or TikTok Live, uh, I get people all over the world: Australia, UK, Ireland, Scotland. Believe it or not, Chile. I have a ton of
Oh,
people from
wow.
Chile. That are people from the Netherlands, and then the lead singer for Journey, Arnel Pineda. He is from doggone it, I can't remember right now. Philippines,
Oh, okay.
and their Philippines is karaoke crazy. They just absolutely love karaoke there. So anybody who's even familiar with karaoke, they just loves, and so I'm big over there too.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
so the thing is, and I just signed a deal. It's been 2 weeks ago. That December 26th, I'm going to be singing in Hong Kong, China. So
Oh, that's so cool.
eh,
Congratulations.
yeah, well, thank you, but I just and then to make it even better, I'm going to be singing with the full orchestra. So
Oh, wow. That's
imagine a
so
guy
neat.
who is just singing karaoke and having fun and not ever just saying, okay, I'm here, I'm just doing what I do, just just like you,
Yeah.
and never dreaming that I'm going to reach the level that I have.
Well, I
And
think being from a small town, it's hard. Like
oh,
it's because you don't there's not a whole lot of that
mhm,
around you. There the mindset and what people do, like it's very scary to put yourself out there to chase your dreams. That's not a very like normal thing when you go around, especially in like small town Midwest, doing things like this, going out and singing like it's kind of that like it's I think it's just that small town. You get so enthralled in like what people think and what and it's like, oh, I need to break that and just learning how to like I don't know, become as authentic as humanly possible and releasing all of this like old wiring bullshit that you just kind of adapt over time. You start unraveling it. And I just started learning the more authentically myself I was, the more I didn't worry about what other people thought. I put my focus and energy into myself and my life and my wife, my kids. It has drastically made a difference with everything. That's where the weight loss came from, the
mhm,
relationship with God, the relationship flipping with my marriage, my mentality. All of it came from that same thing of just like breaking all of this old wiring and patterns of thinking that, oh, just because I'm from a small town, I can't chase these dreams. I can't do these things because, well, I can't break out of this bubble. I can't. But like seeing people like you who again you're just having fun doing what you wanted to do and then God kind of takes care of the rest, puts you in the right
he
spot,
does.
puts you in front of the right things at the right time, and it changes your entire life and you get to kind of live out those things. I genuinely feel like people have that purpose, that there's something that you're here to do in life, and the more you can release those things and find that authenticity, the more you can like I don't know, figure that out, listen to yourself and kind of go after those things that light that inner child up. But I think life kind of beats the hell out of you
Hmm.
throughout the years and you just take on all of this different pain, trauma. You kind of have these habits that you form to protect yourself, and boy are those hard to unravel. That's why I love talking to people about the mentality. I love speaking to people about how mentally they're able to do these things. Oh, I think I may have lost you. We will pause for just a moment. We'll be right back. All right.
So,
We are back.
yes, what you were saying, it's true. And what you don't know, I don't know if you know much about me, but we have more in common than what you think. I weighed 411 pounds at my biggest, and I had the
Oh,
weight
wow.
surgery, and I got down to 199, and I looked really,
That
really
is
bad. So yeah.
but that's awesome to be able to like again be able to lose that weight also and it
Hmm.
it's such a difference of like quality of life. Being when I was 300 pounds, like everything hurt. I had no energy. I was angry all the time. I like it. And now doing what I'm doing, I'm so addicted to it. I'm in the gym 5 to 7 days a week now because it genuinely changes my day. If I start the day off in the morning with even just a light workout, my brain works better. I don't have the anxiety. Like I talked about that on a podcast I just did, just walking. Like I get anxiety really bad. Like I have no idea why, but
Mhm.
it hits me, especially when I get ready to do these for whatever reason. Once I start, I'd have no issues at all. But like the leading up, it's like my brain just wants to overthink every possible outcome that could happen. And doing the things that I'm doing, cutting out the sugar, cutting these habits that I have, going and putting energy into my body, it reduces that so
Mhm.
much, and it gives me so much more of a like calming and a peace that it's become an addicting in that fashion, because I was horrible with food, with
Oh yeah.
everything. And then the more I learned about all these terrible ingredients that are in our food, the way that almost everything in life is designed to kind of mess with your mentality, and
Mhm.
it's all a lot of profit for negativity. And it's, you start seeing these things and cutting things out, and then it was like glaringly obvious whenever I would have something that would cause it, because then that feeling would come back and it was like, "Ooh, what was that? Where is
Yeah.
it coming from? What's making this feel this way?" And then it's like gotten almost just that habitual of like, "Oh, cool, there's another one that I can remove and take out," because it just, I hate that anxiety feeling. I hate that, like, I know it's just because I really care and I want these to go well. I want them to be perfect. I get
Right.
nervous that whatever. And then I get going and I'm like, oh, this, why was I so nervous about it? It was
Yeah.
so silly. And it's always those like those hard moments where afterwards you're like, whew, all right, that was pretty cool. I feel really good. So that was one of the big things that I wanted to like go into, was watching your audition again. That my daughter had asked who I was going to be talking to, and I was showing her your audition. And when I was watching it, it like, I don't know, I was just able to see the same thing. I think they even talked about it, but you had that moment of like, you were getting ready to go, and then it kind of like got overwhelming, got to you a little bit. You paused for a second, and then you just fucking crushed it. And
I
it
was
was like,
like,
oh man.
I was trying to calm myself down the whole time, and like I told you before we started recording, um my mind process was I'm just gonna get a nice little YouTube video. So
Yeah.
I and when you're on the show, you do a series of things where you have to do things there. Like Courtney, my music producer on the show, when she first met me, and this goes back to what I was telling you about jumping on a plane and
Mhm.
actually flying out there, and my wife telling me, "Put your big boy pants on and go." And so when Courtney first met me, she was like, "I am so glad you're here," and I'm like, "Okay, well, you put plane tickets on my phone," and she looked at me and she said, "You'd be surprised how many people get plane tickets on their phone and do not show up." And I was
Oh,
like, I could have been that person. If my
yeah.
wife hadn't have pushed me to go, I would have probably chickened out.
Y
But
yeah,
I had a
'cause
lady behind me that pushed me to do it. And so what you guys see on the video is not what I saw, because I'm, scared shitless,
y
and I'm I'm thinking just get the words right, get the phrasings right, do the best you can, because it's Steve Perry. Nobody can be matched with
y
Steve Perry. I mean,
yeah, you just
not
gotta
even
be
Steve
you.
Perry today can be matched to Steve Perry back then.
Yeah.
So when you seen Simon go like this and went like, I didn't see that. I'm seeing get the words right,
Y
get the phrasings right, do this right. What I did see, what you guys saw, was Heidi look over at Howie, and she's talking to Howie, and I'm thinking, oh shit, she don't like me. She's lost interest, because when somebody's talking, they're
yeah.
not paying attention to
It's
you.
like,
So
"Hey,
she
what the hell? Thanks."
yeah. So my thinking is she just lost interest. And I'm like, well, shit, well, at least she's not Xing me. So I've got
A
that,
and you kind of
so
already had that rejection mentality anyway from the experience to
and,
begin
and
with, where
and it's like you said, all the learning processes that you have to relearn those things. You have to tell yourself that you're good enough. You have to tell
yeah.
yourself that you're worthy of doing this. And there are days that I struggle with that still to this day, where
Oh,
I tell and it's not so much that I get scared when I'm getting ready to go up on stage, but it's like you got to remember the words. You got to do this right. You got to do that right, and you got a full band behind you. There's a totally different dynamic when you have a live band behind you as a pair of doing karaoke and the words are right in front of you, and it's cool. It's safe.
Yeah.
And when you pull yourself out of that comfort zone, when you pull yourself out and you make yourself to where you're uncomfortable, but yet you can manage it.
Mm-hmm.
You tell yourself that you can't manage it before you actually go out there and do it, but you have to give yourself a little pep talk, and
Your
there's
brain can
people
be an
behind
asshole
stage
like
that give
that.
you a little pep talk. And so yeah, so whenever she looks over at Howie and telling him, I'm going to push the golden buzzer, I'm thinking, oh shit, she don't like me,
Yeah.
but at least she didn't X me. So, my mentality is like, I still can get three yeses, and, Heidi can just, not
Yeah.
like
I
me,
don't need
no
her. Who
big
knows?
deal,
Yeah.
you know? So never dreaming in a million years, and the one person I told them, because I was like a dummy when they interviewed me, they're like, well, what's the one judge that you don't want to talk to, that you don't feel safe with? I was like, Simon,
Yeah.
because you think of his American Idol days when he sent people out of the room crying.
Yeah.
I'm
You're like, I'm
like,
not trying to get roasted on national television. No, thank
I
you.
don't. I don't want to talk to Simon. I don't. I don't want any part of that. And who do they have me talk to? Simon.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, next time I do something like this, I'm just gonna lie. I want to pick the easiest person.
Oh yeah. Well,
So,
because
but
I assume they did that on purpose. I assume that they knew that
well,
that would garner
they
the
want you
death.
scared.
Yeah.
They want that.
That
That
moment.
kind of, you remember the Muppets and Beaker where he would go like they want that out of you. They
Yes.
want you to be
Well,
scared,
because
on edge, and
either way, it creates a moment for them, whether it's pulling at the heartstrings or the viral clip
they
of the guy that lost his mind and couldn't function on there. Was that kind of going through your head too? Like when they were interviewing you beforehand, like, will you guys get the fuck on with this so I can
yeah.
just start singing? Like, will you please stop talking to me?
Yeah, and another thing people don't know is, like, just before you go out on stage, you talk to Terry. They hand you a microphone, and then you truck your little portly self out there, and so just before, so I talked to Terry, and just before I grabbed my mic, a senior producer, Meg, got a shoulder length blonde hair, tall, um, comes up to me and says, "Hey, whoever interviews you, if they ask you what song you're going to sing, don't answer it." I'm like, well, what am I supposed to say? I'm already nervous.
Yeah.
And then come to find out, I'm going to be talking to Simon. Simon's not only the creator of the show, but he's the big boss.
Yeah.
And what most people don't know is Howie is the other big boss. He's over Canada's Got Talent.
Ah,
So
okay.
the two big bosses are in there saying, okay, and I'm just going to look at the big boss of the talent show world. Hey, I'm just not going to answer your question. So I was like, well, what do I say? And she's like, I don't care, just make it up. And the only thing I could think of is, I mean, when you hear the beginning piano riff of "Don't Stop Believing," the
You
song
know.
speaks for itself,
Yep.
and
That was
it's
the
the only thing I
perfect
can think
answer
of.
too, because it came out very natural. Like
Yep.
it was the perfect answer of like,
Yeah.
hey, it'll speak for itself. And but like it is a weird thing that like how produced so many of these things are. That's why I said earlier, good for you for kind of sticking up for yourself and being like, hey, if you want me, you
Oh
get
yeah.
this. Like, because you can see it in so many of these reality shows where like you're watching it and the person's talking and they're looking over and reading each line and it's like, yeah, these are very real. Like this
Yeah.
is so overly produced, and that's one of those things that I wish that they would dial back on. But I think it's that same thing, that mindset of something being out of line, of something not being perfect,
Well,
giving people a reason to lash out, to be negative. And it's like it's sad that that's where like as a society everyone's just looking for that slip up, that thing. And it's like, yeah, we're all humans, everyone makes mistakes, everyone has problems, everyone goes through problems and shit in life. It's just,
yeah.
but then they latch on to people like if you would have screwed up those lyrics and messed up, then that goes completely different. Not because no one else has ever made a mistake in life, but that
Yeah.
makes people feel better. It makes them go, oh, well, see, this person screwed up, so I can. And it's like that in
Yeah.
almost everything. And that makes people scared to chase their dreams. That's where a lot of that fear comes from, I think, is like putting yourself out there and then failing is like so daunting of a thought of like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, like if I go viral and the world doesn't, like, well, yeah, that's just kind of how it goes. Like
Yeah.
you put yourself out there, you be as authentic as you can, and it is what it is. I wish more people would like kind of see it that way and stop with that mob mentality of like,
Yeah.
oh, I need to pile on this person because they made a mistake, and it makes it, and it's like, well, so where are you at in life? What have you done? What have your mistakes been? Like you've made
Right.
it through all of life and you've never screwed up once. That's astounding. I need to hear more.
That's
Please tell
that's
me. Like,
that's the hardest part is when you put yourself out there. I would say 90% of everybody is all positive, all really good.
mhm,
That 10%. And the thing is, we as people, we concentrate more on the 10% than we do the
always.
90, because we want everyone to like us. And and the thing is, and you got to stop and think, you're not everybody's cup of tea. And
Mhm.
just like you're not everybody's cup of tea.
Ooh,
Now,
nope.
somebody's probably not going to want to sit through a podcast with a singing janitor. So, and that's
Yep.
okay. But the thing is we as people, we concentrate more on the 10% than this whole 90. I mean, there's a whole lot of 90 there, and just that 10%,
Y
we tend to worry about the 10 instead of the 90.
yeah.
And it takes time to work through that too, because
Ooh.
you put yourself into those parameters. I think I'll use the word parameters,
Mhm.
where you've been taught all your life that either you're not good enough, or you're just mediocre, or you're just enough to get by.
Mhm.
And then when you get on a show like AGT and you hit big like I did, it's weird for me to even say that still to this day.
Yeah.
You have to at some point do some work up here,
Mhm.
and tell yourself, okay, there must be something there, because I wouldn't have gotten a golden buzzer from a German supermodel. I
Yep.
I wouldn't have made it through each and every round. And I understand that I get that the story, because there's been a lot of people that said, dude, you want it from the audition. You could have just sang Mary Had a Little Lamb for the next
Yep.
three songs, and you would have still
That
won. And
that would have
and
been
I
awesome,
kind of
by the way.
challenge that a little bit, but I understand that. I mean, because like over in the UK, they were comparing me to Susan Boyle, which
Yeah.
and I
Well,
and I
talent's
understand that
talent.
I had that shock factor. But at the end of the day, I'm still the same guy. I just got off work. This is my uniform. I just got off work. I'm still the same guy, just a bigger microphone. That's
Yeah,
all.
you just get that peace and you get to like live out life knowing that you went after the thing that you wanted to do and it
Mhm.
paid off. And
Yeah.
that's again, I think that's kind of the gist of what I want to do with all of this, because it's like that, unfortunately that 10% is very, very loud in the human brain, and it's so
Oh yeah.
hard
I
to.
think I think the worst comment I ever got, some guy, and if you look on YouTube, some guy compared me and Steve Perry, and it wasn't just a regular comparison. They had us that he had us both singing at the same time, and they were comparing our voices. And it wasn't until I seen that video I thought, oh shit, I'm pretty close to the voice.
Yeah.
I have never ever have been so boldly in my mind thinking, oh yeah, I'm just as good as Steve. There ain't nobody back in the day when he was at his peak. There is nobody that could wail those songs. And to this
Well,
day, Arnell still struggles. If you watch some of his posts and some of his, he still struggles.
well, and I
And
think
so,
that's
and he pays attention to the 10%. And he's been a professional for what, 16 years? He
absolutely.
should be able to deal with it. So imagine, somebody like you and me who are still kind of focused on the 10%. and he's been doing this for 16 years professionally. Yeah, it says a lot.
Oh yeah. Well, and also that comparison. You are Richard Goodall.
Hmm.
That's Steve Perry. Like
Yeah.
you have your voice. He's him and has his
Yeah.
voice. And that's
Well, in
that's
that video, what I was going to tell you was in that video, there were comments like on a YouTube, any other YouTube video.
Mhm.
The worst comment I ever got was like some guy got on there. He's like, "How can you compare him to Steve Perry, fat, toothless karaoke sing?" And I was like, "Dude, I mean, come on!" And then there's other people that are just absolute. Oh God, he sucks. I can't believe you guys listen to him. And so that 10%, you're still listening to it, but you're like, so at some point you start getting to the point where you have a little more confidence and you tell yourself,
Yeah.
okay, you got those kind of people out there that are just not going to be happy until you're unhappy, just as unhappy as they are.
Yes. And they're
And
gonna
until you do the work up here, then you won't pick up on it.
correct. And I say this constantly. People are going to people. You can't control what other people think about you. People are going to hate you if you're doing well. They're going to hate you if you're doing bad. It's whatever suits them. Those people are going to talk about you regardless. So giving that energy, giving that attention will drive you insane. It's really hard to do, especially if it's people that like you've been around for a long time or but for the most part, one of the best things I've ever heard was I listened to a Joe Rogan podcast and he was talking about how he just everything's post and ghost. He doesn't read the comments. He just puts it out there and gets out because he's like, I can't.
There's
Like, I don't want to
there's
deal with
still
it.
a part of me that wants to know the whole truth. I
Yeah.
want to hear what people say and think.
Well, that's that confidence too, because it like that like you almost want that validation because I just had a bout with that with doing this where like I wasn't getting the results that I wanted and it was like, hey, it's not the results. You're doing this because this is your passion. This is what you want to do with life. You want to utilize these experiences that you've had and talk to other people about them. And if it helps one person, fantastic. That's what the goal of this is an outlet for me to speak on these things, get to talk to cool, interesting people, hear stories about life, and not let that affect my progress with it. Cause like I would look at it and if it didn't get the results I wanted, it would almost like shut me down where I was like, all right, well, nobody cares. And it was like, no, just that's how this goes. Like you have
Yeah,
to build, you have to
you have
grow.
to
You
build.
can't just sit back and let it like you have to keep
I'm I'm still building to this day. People think, oh well, he's made it. Just because you've been on a TV show doesn't mean you've made it.
that just starts
You
it.
you have yeah. All those songs I did 4 songs, 5 if you count with Journey, but it was the same song. I did 5 songs altogether on the show. And through each round, I got a little bit more confidence, a little bit
Oh
more
yeah.
confidence. But you still in the back of your mind, you're just like, I'm here, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And to watch those videos back today, I still kind of tear up and think, man, I can't believe I did that. I can't
Yeah.
believe that I actually walked. I was bold enough to walk across that stage and say, okay, here I am, I'm
Yeah.
just a
Let
I'm
the
just a
world
regular
decide.
person and I'm here, I'm standing in front of you and if it works out great, great. If it doesn't, and I guess I did pretty good.
Well, yeah, absolutely you did. So another like piece of this that I really want to jump into that moment when the gold confetti goes flying everywhere and you knew that she had hit the golden buzzer and it wasn't that she hated you. What was that like? How did that hit your brain in that moment? Because obviously going in there with zero expectations and then having like absolute best case scenario play out, what was that moment like for
Well,
you?
well, see, here's the thing, and what most people don't know. If you get on my TikTok, I don't know if you have TikTok,
Mhm.
but if you get on my TikTok and scroll down just a little ways, you can see where I was on the show, and there's 2 different versions of the gold buzzer.
Oh.
There's what they refilmed with Heidi, and there's what is on my TikTok that actually happened.
Oh, okay.
So what happened was, I had tried out for the show back in 2007, and I sang "God Bless the USA" and got nowhere.
Mhm.
I was just another face in the crowd, just like everyone else, you know, and still am in a lot of
Yeah.
ways. But but so if you check out my TikTok, there's one video, and it's the actual, you know, where I got the golden buzzer. What happened was is Heidi goes, "You tried out in 2007." I said, "Yes, ma'am." And she said, "Well, 2007 wasn't your years because this year's your year." And she pushes the button real quick.
Oh.
I'm in California. I'm already scared, and there's this huge boom that comes up over my. I think Russia's attacking or China. I thought, oh, there's a bomb. And then when the gold confetti came down, I was like, oh shit, I did it.
Yeah.
I've got another plane trip. That was the only thing I could think of was I did it, and I've got another plane trip. I've got to fly home and then fly back here to this shark's den, you know, because I'm
Yeah.
still the guppy, you know. And so I'm thinking, okay, now I've got another plane trip to take,
Yeah.
and never, and it's still at this point, you know, after flying back out there and getting through the next round. I'm still not. I'm like, I'm just lucky to be here. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't think I really had a, you know, I had a place there. I
It's
was
kind of like when
thinking,
you win money at the casino. Now you're just playing on theirs, and it's like, hey, let's just free roll this and see what
yeah,
happens.
yeah, yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, I, you know, went through each round was just like, I'm lucky to be here. I'm just going to do the best I can, and you know, and when I got voted through the next round, and then I did "Eye of the Tiger." That was my favorite song to do on the show because "Don't Stop Believing." Don't get me wrong, it's everybody's favorite,
Yep.
but for me, I had that was my third round, and I was just starting to get my legs underneath me. I was just starting to get to the, you know, the mental idea that
Yeah.
I actually belong here now.
Yeah. So you had that
For
that
whatever
confidence had
reason,
kicked in.
God, you got me here. I don't know what your plan is, but you know what? I'm just gonna roll with it,
Yep.
and you know. So, "Eye of the Tiger" was my absolute favorite to perform, and they made me feel like, I mean, if you watch that back, they made me feel like a rock star. They had fire everywhere, and
That's
they
so
had this
awesome.
big ring. They had a big production around me when I did "Eye of the Tiger." And I just felt like a rock star, you know. I was just like, yeah, this is my
Yeah.
fight song. I want the "Eye of the Tiger." I want to be in the final, you know. That was my fight song. And then when I got through, I was like, oh shit, now what do I
Now
do?
what?
So my thought process was I started with Journey. I wanted to end with Journey. So here's the things to know. It took about 3 weeks to get "Don't Stop Believing" approved to clear to go on the show. Now you're thinking, well, why would it take so long? You got to understand that Steve Perry, Jonathan Cain, and Neil Sean all are at each other's throats.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're Neil and Jonathan are still in the band, but they still argue. I mean, if you watch the stage, they're on two separate sides of the stage, and you rarely ever see them cross over, and they just it's like water and oil.
Yep.
They just
But at
don't
this
mix
point,
anymore.
they just have to deal with it.
But so it had to get through three different people to get that song on the show. So I'm thinking I started with Journey. I want to end with Journey.
Yeah.
Here's my thought process. I'm going to choose Faithfully. Why am I going to choose Faithfully? Only one person wrote it, Jonathan Cain.
Oh,
So I only
easier to
had
get
to get
through.
one person's approval. They already approved me to do "Don't Stop Believing." So I was thinking it's going to be a no-brainer. Jonathan's going to like, okay, you know, I'm going to get money out of this either way. And
Yeah,
he's already proven
absolutely.
himself with "Don't Stop." I'm going to let him do Faithfully. And it only took a day or two to get Faithfully approved.
Oh, that's
So,
fantastic.
and then, so I sing Faithfully. So that's on a Tuesday. So here's something else that people don't know. So on a Tuesday, I sing the finale. And so you have to wait till Thursday to find out if you actually won. So
Oh.
so Tuesday, just before just before I sing Faithfully, no, it was after. It was after. Um it was like at 10 o'clock at night, and they asked my wife and I, and when I sang faithfully, the package. I think no, it was when I sang "Don't Stop" with Journey. The package showed that Neil Sean gets on there and he's like, Richard, we've been watching your progress on the show this whole time, and I'm like, I'm floored because Neil Sean is actually talking to me. You
Yeah,
know,
you're like, this is wild.
it gets wilder. I mean, so I'm just like, well, wow. And he's like, Richard, we're in Chile right now, but we are flying back, and we are going to be on the show with you. And I'm like, uh, 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 what? What? So Tuesday, I find out not only do I get to sing faithfully, Wednesday, I marry my wife.
Oh, what a big couple days.
Right across the street, there's a shopping mall, and upstairs there's a Mexican restaurant, and there's a fountain, beautiful fountain, and that's where my wife and I got married that Wednesday. The show sent us to Malibu to a restaurant called Moonshadow. Now, if you remember, they had a fire not too long ago,
Oh, okay.
and Moonshadows burnt down as a part of that fire. So Moonshadows is no longer there, but my wife and I, the day that we got married, we got to go to Malibu, and I got to see the Pacific Ocean for the first time.
Oh,
I had
that's so
flown
cool.
over it, but I hadn't been, near it to touch it
Yeah.
or anything like that. So I actually got an opportunity to actually touch the Pacific Ocean, because I've been to the Atlantic Ocean many times.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow. So I get married. I have a great dinner in Malibu. The next day, I'm singing with Journey on America's Got Talent. And lo and
That
behold, after I sing with Journey, which you think, nothing can top that. Well, guess what? The janitor ends up winning the whole flipping
yeah.
thing. And I'm just like,
And that was
so
what,
we
three
stayed
days
an extra
span?
week. We stayed an extra week because I had interviews to do, and my wife and I were out in California for almost a whole month
Wow.
away from Indiana. And it was the show had provided the room. It provided our meals. It took care of us. And so when we finally come down and flew back home and come down from the high, we both just look at each other like, what was that?
Yeah. What
I
just
mean,
happened?
how do you come down from a high like that?
That was actually my next question of like,
Uh,
how the hell do you like go back to regular life in Indiana after you
That,
just had that experience? Oh, because what was that, like a 3 day span where like you get married, you find out you're gonna perform with Journey, you win the show, you go do a bunch of interviews, and then it's like, what? Like, is
yeah.
this real? Is this like my real life? This is crazy.
So then I come home and I start the process of learning how to be a businessman. And trust me, janitor and businessman, they don't, it's like oil and water.
Not exactly
So
what you were planning for.
so you have to do the work up here again. You have
Because how
to.
many people come at you with like just wild, crazy shit that you start like immediately feeling that like, oh, this is some bullshit. This person's trying to get in on something. This person's trying to
Oh,
rob me. Like I assume you're just getting flooded with that left and right.
I've gotten all kinds of, come here for free, come here for free, come do this for
Oh
free.
yeah.
And there are, I mean, how people when they win or do something, they have a platform.
Hmm.
Okay, so my platform, of course, me being who I am, I still work at the school, same guy. This is my uniform. I just got off work.
Yep.
My thought process is okay. So me being who I am, I want kids to be my platform. Just about anything. And I've done foster kid things. I've done Best Buddies International, which the Kennedy Shriver family is a part of that. I've met. I mean, I literally on my phone now. I have millionaires and a couple billionaires that are on my phone that I could text and ask
Yeah.
questions about business, and
That's a
and it's surreal to me.
oh,
And then just here recently, Neil, after I was on the show with him, he messaged messaged and said, "Hey," because at that time I had some friends that helped me write a song. They wrote it. I told them, about my life, my experiences, and so they customized it for the show, my time on the show, and it's called A Long Time Coming because that's what I told Simon. I was like, he's like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just trying to calm myself down. That this has been a long time coming.
Yeah.
I'm 54 years old, and I was so nervous. I said 55, and I wasn't even 55 yet.
And I
So,
assume too, like that's something you've thought about that moment forever. So
oh
then
yeah,
like actually having that moment happen and having that like, hey, let's not fuck this up. Like that has to go through your head. Like, I mean,
yeah.
to an extent, it's like, all right, hey, we're here. We got to this point now. Like, let's show what we can do. Let's do this shit. And then you could just see it. That audition, you just as soon as you started, you just lock in. And like I mean, you can feel it like breaking through the first quarter of the song, and then they're all going nuts, the crowd's going with you, like you're
As soon
vibing
as
with
I
it.
hit that high note, Heidi and all of them just stood up, and I was just like, okay, I'm
Like I
still,
got him.
I gotta keep focused. I gotta get through. I gotta hit two more high notes, and then I'm good. And
Yeah,
so
oh and boy did you.
and if you watch it back, when I finally finished, I just backed up a couple steps. I'm just like, I did it. And then the crowd started screaming. I mean, because there was a moment where it was just dead silent. And then the crowd was finally caught up and was like, that just happened. And then people
Yeah.
just started screaming. And I'm just like,
Y-
oh, what did I do?
did you have that like almost out of body experience after that, where that like pressure, that weight melted and you're like, hey, I am good at this, like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
cool, like I am good at this.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
that's
yeah.
so
But
another question about like did you find out live that you won? Like do they do that live or do they give you the heads up of like, hey, you got
it,
this, or was that
it,
like
so it was live. And some seasons they do things differently. Like some seasons they will do it absolutely live, and then there will be some seasons where, say, so like I told you, I sang on the finale on a Tuesday, got married on a Wednesday, and then the grand finale was Thursday. Well, that was live, but it wasn't live on TV. It didn't air until the following Tuesday,
okay.
and then it was all revealed. So I had to go through Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Then it aired on Tuesday, and then everybody, because I couldn't say if I won or not.
Oh yeah.
And so when I finally won, then my phone just
Went
exploded,
nuts.
But I'm sitting in the hotel room, like sitting there watching it, and of course all the AGT people are gone because the show's over, for that season.
Yeah.
So they're all
And
packing up all their equipment and everything, and I'm still there sitting there, and we're doing, Zoom interviews every day, and the Zoom interviews that I've been doing is kind of like what I'm doing with you right now. Well, they had to sign an NDA saying we're gonna do this interview with him, but we can't say, that he won until we can't post this interview until it actually airs live on
yeah.
NBC, and then you're fine.
And that's
So
fantastic. And then you
yeah,
just like now you get to just, I assume, field those opportunities that you want to take and kind of
yeah,
live life and enjoy some things a
and
little more than you
and
did
some
before.
things have slowed down a little bit, and that's fine. There's another. I mean, Hong Kong that's a big
That's
situation there.
that is awesome.
Yeah, but there's another huge thing that's happening, and once we get off of this interview, I'll tell you what it is.
Oh, fantastic.
But I don't want to. I can't really say anything
Absolutely.
right
Well,
now. But I mean, it's huge,
well, I
and
appreciate you sharing the secret with me after we're done here. That
yeah,
is wonderful. Well,
yeah, it's
I
pretty
have
big.
that is fantastic. It's so cool to like watch how this all played out, seeing a person who just coming from a small town in Indiana. It immediately made me want to talk with you in this
Where are
world that
you
I'm
from? I that.
Brazil, right? Yep,
Oh,
right down the road in Brazil.
oh,
So,
Brazil, Indiana.
yeah, I'm
Oh,
not too
holy!
far from you at all.
You're
So,
just a neighbor then.
yeah, it in your story just it fascinated me, and it like it chasing doing what I'm doing and talking to people
Well,
this way. It was like, oh, this is that perfect storm of this person that
well,
fits all of these boxes.
we'll
Because
have to
again,
meet up. We'll have to meet up in real life then, since you're so
absolutely.
close.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm what 30, 40 minutes away at the most. So, but
yeah.
like being able to just show just anybody, people, kids that hey, the small town is not a death sentence. It yes, your
If I
resource
can
and
do it,
opportunities.
that's my mantra to people when I do speaking engagements now. It's like if I can do it, anybody can do it. You just have to
Yeah.
keep pushing until finally somebody says, "Okay, all right, I get it. Go try
Yeah.
it."
And you are a living proof of that, and it
Mm,
like it's given me that additional hope of just like doing what I'm doing, pushing through these things, and like hey, these failures or these different things, lumps if you will, that kind of propel you to that next mental state. And each
yeah,
time that I battle these things or I go through one of these moments, taking it as a lesson, taking it as okay, what am I screwing up, where can I adjust, what can I do differently, how can I approach this differently, and taking accountability for those things completely changes that mindset. And I'm very convinced that healing that inner child in you that just wants to live life and have fun and be a free human is how people are supposed to live. And
yeah,
you have that passion in you, and there's something out there that you're supposed to do, that you're that little inner you is kicking and screaming going, hey, let me out of here, like I want to go play, I want to have fun.
yeah.
And like
Even
just
at 55.
yeah, just living life and enjoying it,
Yeah,
and like I don't know, just being able to enjoy this beautiful life and this beautiful planet that we were thrown onto, and figuring out what all of it is. It's fascinating. I love
yeah.
picking people's brains, and I absolutely love your story. Thank you so much for giving me the amount of time that you did, for hanging out with me. Please plug away anywhere people can find you or where you're active at. And
Just on Facebook right now, and Instagram, and on Facebook, it has to be the little blue check mark because there's tons of scammers out there, and
oh yeah,
they just love stealing people's money, and they'll use my face, they'll use your face, they'll use anybody's face they can to make it happen. I was in I did a concert in Lafayette last year, and I was doing anytime I do a concert, I always make sure that anybody who wants to meet me, say hi, take a picture, whatever they want to do, I'll stay till 2 a.m. in the morning. I don't care, just as long as everybody gets. If they want to meet me, then they can meet me.
that's
And
so
I
awesome.
had one lady that came up, and her and her son, she was standing there, and she grabs my hand, and I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Well, what's this?" And I was like, "Well, that's my wedding ring." She's like, "Well, you've been talking to me, telling me you love me, and you're going to eat Easter dinner with me." And I'm just like,
Mm.
"Oh." And then she had gave this person money, and I was like, "Ma'am, you're not talking to me. I don't do that sort of thing. I mean,
That's
I'm not a
so
perfect person, but I'm not going to cheat on
no.
my wife, and I'm
Yeah.
definitely not going to look for
Yeah.
somebody else and ask for their money. And no, I have a conscience, and there is no way I could ever do anything like, oh God, I felt so horrible.
It's
Oh,
so
I felt
sad
horrible.
and frustrating that
Oh, there
there
is.
are people like that are willing to take advantage of people,
Yeah.
and it's also sad and frustrating that there are people that are like desperate for attention that
Hmm.
like fall into that. And it's like, oh man, like it kind of falls back into that just
Hmm.
humans being humans. The
Yeah.
that social media, we are all as connected as we've ever been, but everyone is so freaking disconnected from reality and human conversations. Again, that's why I love doing these. I love
Yeah.
just like going deep in the weeds of people's brains and how they operate in these mental moments. The one I did earlier today, I talked to a lady, and basically the whole podcast was about suicide.
Oh,
That's what her life is and what she does. And it was a fascinating conversation, but I just love like bouncing around to every walk of life and getting to hear all these different stories, opinions, thoughts, because it humanizes everybody, and we're all wired the same. We
Oh
just are
yeah.
all a little different. We all have something that lights us up inside.
Yeah. Yep.
Well,
You're right.
well, thank you so much for your time. You have been awesome, and I appreciate it. And yeah, I'll talk to you here in just a second after this outro. Thank you for joining me, and we'll be back next time. Bye.
Bye.